Alex Carter stood on the edge of the salvage dock, staring at the old ship floating silently in the station's outer bay. The vessel was massive, but its paint was chipped and worn, and pieces of its outer plating hung loose. Most of the aliens passing by gave it a wide berth. Some even laughed, pointing at the human as he walked closer. Alex did not care. He saw something that others could not. Beneath the rust and broken panels, the ship had bones strong enough to survive anything. He remembered the stories about it. The ship had fought in wars long before he was born. It had taken hits that would have destroyed other vessels. But somehow, it survived. Now, it was considered worthless. The major alien factions in the sector had all refused to touch it. They said the ship was cursed, that no one who tried to restore it ever succeeded. It had been sitting here for years, drifting slowly with the station's orbital currents. The metal groaned quietly in the empty space around it. To most, it was junk. To Alex, it was opportunity. "You're wasting your time, human," a tall alien with green skin and 6 eyes said. It was a trader named Catrill. He worked in the salvage ring, buying and selling vessels that others had discarded. "No one has touched this ship in decades. It's a graveyard. You don't want it." Alex smiled faintly. He did not respond. He just stepped onto the small boarding ramp, feeling the old metal beneath his boots. He ran his hand along the hull. Even through the grime, he could feel the structure beneath. Strong metal, unusual alloy. It might have been alien, but it had human potential. If someone knew what they were doing, he knew that someone was him. Inside the ship, the air was stale. The control room was dark, lights flickering weakly. Dust floated in small clouds. As he walked through corridors once alive with activity, consoles were cracked. Wires hung from walls like broken veins. The ship smelled of old fuel, metal, and something else he could not identify. It was a smell of history. A smell that spoke to him. Alex's eyes were drawn to the main control chair, worn and scarred from battle. He touched it lightly. Someone had fought here. Someone who had tried to make the ship survive. And now, he would try again. He stepped outside for a moment, looking down at the dock below. Lisa Brown, the station clerk, waved at him. She was a small, human woman, with short brown hair and kind eyes. She worked at the port office, keeping track of ships, deals, and licenses. She had warned him before. "Alex," she called. "Don't do it. That ship will eat your money and your time. People have tried. Everyone fails. Even the aliens who understand their tech say it's impossible." Alex turned to her. He shook his head. "I see what they can't. Lisa, it's not about what the ship was. It's about what it can be. I can fix it. I know I can." She frowned. "I hope you know what you're doing. It's not just the tech. There's history there. Battles, old wars, mistakes no one wants to repeat. It's dangerous." Alex smiled again, the corner of his mouth lifting slightly. "Danger is what I do best." He signed the papers later that day. The ship was his now, purchased for a fraction of what it had once cost. No one cheered. No one protested. The aliens simply shook their heads and whispered to each other, telling everyone that a human had made the worst decision in decades. Alex did not mind. The ship floated silently in the bay, waiting. The first night he spent aboard, Alex wandered through the corridors, flashlight in hand. He studied each panel, each broken console. He noted what might still work and what would need to be replaced. He opened a storage compartment and found old manuals. Some human, some alien, some a mix of both. Most of it was useless, but some schematics caught his eye. He carefully photographed each one with his small device. Tomorrow would be the real work. Tonight was for understanding. The aliens in the station whispered about him. Catriel and the others went from table to table, warning anyone who would listen. Don't watch the human. He'll fail. Mark my words. The ship has eaten many. He'll join the list. They laughed at the thought. But Alex didn't care about their words. He slept lightly, listening to the low hum of the ship's remaining power cores. It was faint, almost dead, but it was enough. Just enough. The next morning, Alex began. He opened the main engine bay. The engines were old, worn, and partially stripped. He ran his hands over the components, thinking of how they could work together again. Instead of replacing parts with alien designs, he decided to adapt them. Mix human ingenuity with alien engineering. He worked slowly, carefully, making notes, testing circuits. Sparks flew, small alarms beeped, but nothing serious happened. He smiled. Progress was slow, but it was progress. He had company unexpectedly. Claire Young, a traveling human engineer, stopped by while checking on her own repairs in the station. She was tall, confident, and curious. She walked past the aliens who mocked her and stepped into the engine bay. "You're working on that thing?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "I thought everyone avoided it." "No," Alex shrugged. "Everyone avoids it because they can't see potential. I see it." He gestured to the engines. "Look at this. Old tech, yes, but strong. We can make it better." Claire smiled faintly. "I like your attitude. Mind if I help?" She crouched beside a damaged power conduit. "I might have some ideas to make it run cleaner. Safer." 1. R. They worked together for hours. Alex showed her the ship's history, pointing out old battle damage and reinforced plating. Claire studied the designs and shook her head in disbelief. These aliens had something good here. The engineering was smart. Too bad they didn't know how to maintain it. Quote, Alex laughed softly. "Humans fix what others fail. It's kind of our thing." As the day went on, they opened more compartments, finding old storage rooms, parts bins, and hidden access panels. Some rooms were empty. Others had remnants of previous battles, scorched and melted machinery. Alex found logs of missions long past. He read them carefully, learning the ship's secrets. He noted which systems had been upgraded over time, which had been sabotaged, and which had been ignored. The ship had a story, one that few had cared to read. By night, they had restored a small section of the ship. Lights flickered in the hallways, a small engine core hummed faintly, and a single weapon system showed signs of life. It was not much, but it was a start. Alex looked at the ship and felt pride. It was his project now, a challenge no one else would attempt. And he loved it. Aliens still mocked him. Traitors and pilots laughed at the human who dared to touch the cursed ship. Catriel shook his head when he saw the progress, whispering to other aliens, "He will fail. Mark my words." Alex ignored them. The ship was his responsibility. He would not fail. He had human stubbornness, ingenuity, and a little hope. That was all he needed. As he walked to the control room that night, he felt the weight of the ship around him. It was old, heavy, and scarred, but it had life. Faint lights glowed where systems had come online. A low hum filled the corridors. He ran his hand along the walls, imagining the ship in motion, engines roaring, weapons ready, and shields glowing. It would happen one day. He could feel it. He slept in the captain's chair that night, the first human to rest there in decades. Outside, the station slept. The aliens ignored the progress. But Alex knew. Slowly, Carefully, one panel at a time, he would bring the ship back, and when it moved again, no one would doubt a human's ability to turn trash into power. The ship no longer belonged to anyone else. It was his. A sleeping giant, waiting for life. Morning came. The stars shone cold and distant. Alex opened the engine bay and examined the repairs from the previous day. Claire arrived, ready to continue. They joked and worked together, discussing ideas in simple language. They cleaned circuits, replaced broken parts, and tested systems. Sparks flew, alarms beeped, but it was small. It was manageable. Every fix brought life back into the ship. Every adjustment made it stronger. The alien traders shook their heads. "It will fail," they said. But the human ignored them. He had a vision. The ship no one wanted would rise. He would prove them all wrong. And in the quiet hum of the old ship, Alex felt the first small pulse of hope. The next morning, Alex arrived at the dock before sunrise. The station was quiet, except for the distant hum of engines and the occasional chatter of early risers. He could see the ship floating silently in the bay, its worn hull catching the pale light. Claire Young was already there, leaning against the railing, coffee in hand. She waved at him. "Morning," she said, taking a sip. "Ready to make it run a little better today?" Alex smiled. "Ready as ever. I think we can bring the main engines fully online by nightfall, if we work carefully." They started with the engine room. The old engines were a tangle of alien technology and human improvisation from past repairs. Wires crisscrossed the walls. Panels were missing, and some systems had been removed entirely. Alex ran his hands along the engines, feeling the heat and vibration. He made notes in his small data pad. "Look here," he said, pointing to a worn conduit. "They tried to fix this last time, but they used the wrong material. It's weak and could fail under stress." Claire nodded. "I can reinforce it. I have some alloys in my kit that will handle the load." She opened her tools and began shaping the material. Sparks flew as she welded the conduit. But she worked slowly and carefully. Alex watched, impressed by her steady hands. As they worked, Alex noticed more than just broken parts. He saw patterns in the wiring, subtle adjustments that hinted at clever design choices. The aliens who had maintained the ship had been cautious, following rules and manuals. Humans, he thought, could think outside the rules. "This ship," Alex said, wiping sweat from his brow, "was made to survive. They just didn't understand it. We can make it stronger than it ever was." Claire smiled faintly. "You mean better than anyone imagined?" Alex nodded. "Exactly. And we're going to do it with what we have. No new alien parts, just human ingenuity." Hours passed. They repaired circuits, replaced broken conduits, and cleaned the fuel lines. The engines hummed faintly, a small sign of life returning. For the first time, the ship felt less like a ghost and more like a living machine. While working, Alex discovered a hidden panel in the floor of the engine room. It was small, cleverly disguised, and had been sealed for decades. He pried it open carefully, revealing a narrow crawl space filled with old storage boxes. Inside were tools, spare parts, and a small data cube with alien writing. "Look at this," he said, holding the cube up. "This might have some records from the ship's past missions." Claire leaned over. "Be careful. Some of these records could be classified or dangerous." Alex shrugged. "Danger is part of the job." He inserted the cube into his reader. The screen flickered to life, showing battle logs, maintenance reports, and schematics. Much of it was in alien language, but he could understand enough to see the ship's history. This ship survived fights it shouldn't have. Alex said quietly. They patched it again and again, always keeping it alive. It was meant for something big, but the aliens didn't finish it. Claire studied the logs. They didn't trust their own design fully. Maybe they were afraid of what it could do if it was pushed too far. Alex nodded. That's why it failed. They limited it. We won't. We'll finish it. Over the next days, their work continued. They repaired weapons systems, cleaned sensors, and tested shields. The ship responded slowly at first. Lights flickering, engines humming, but each repair brought more life. It was subtle, almost invisible, but the pulse of the ship grew stronger every day. During one evening, as they worked in the main corridor, they heard footsteps. It was Amy Cole, a human pilot who had been traveling through the station. She had heard about Alex and the ship and wanted to see it for herself. I heard you're trying to bring this old wreck back to life, she said, crossing her arms. Crazy idea. But I like crazy ideas. Alex smiled. We're not just fixing it. We're making it better. Faster. Stronger. Smarter. Amy raised an eyebrow. You're ambitious. I like that. Maybe I can help with testing. I've flown a lot of ships, seen a lot of battles. If it works, I want to fly it. Claire laughed. You're not even sure it will work yet. Alex shook his head. It will. We just have to be patient. The next discovery came when Alex noticed a section of the hull that seemed heavier than expected. He pried open a panel and found a sealed compartment filled with old fuel cells and power amplifiers. They had been hidden, untouched for decades. These could double the ship's power, Alex said, excitement in his voice. They just never connected them. Maybe they were afraid. Claire and Amy helped him install the amplifiers. When they powered them on, the ship's sensors flickered to life. Shields showed faint energy signatures, and engines hummed stronger than before. It was a small step, but a huge sign of progress. Aliens continued to watch, curious and suspicious. Catrill and other traders whispered among themselves. The human might succeed, but he'll fail eventually. It's only a matter of time. They did not understand human determination. They did not understand patience or ingenuity. Alex did not care. The ship was responding to him, to humans, in ways they could not see. One night, Alex and Claire stayed late in the engine room. The lights were dim, shadows stretching across the metal walls. He touched the control panel gently. I can feel it waking up, he said. It's responding to our work. It's listening. Claire looked around nervously. It's just a machine. Alex smiled. Not just a machine. This ship has survived wars, attacks, and neglect. It's alive in its own way. It trusts the hands that care for it. It knows who belongs here. The next day, they continued repairs on the weapons systems. Many were damaged beyond normal repair. But Alex found old alien schematics that showed secret pathways to restore energy flow. With careful adjustments, they powered a single cannon. The weapon hummed, charged, and responded. It worked. It's alive, Amy said, watching the cannon glow with energy. It's actually alive, Alex nodded. And this is only the beginning. Once the engines are fully online and the systems are synced, this ship will be faster and stronger than anyone imagines. As the days passed, more secrets were uncovered. Hidden compartments, reinforced plating, and old battle strategies. Each discovery brought hope. Each repair made the ship more capable. Alex and his team were patient, careful, but also bold. They were willing to push limits that aliens would not dare touch. One evening, the station was quiet. Alex sat in the captain's chair, looking out at the stars. Claire and Amy were nearby, checking systems. The ship hummed faintly, a sound almost like breathing. He could feel the energy flowing slowly through the hull, subtle but real. "It's going to be something," he said softly. "Not just a ship, but a symbol. Humans can take what others discard and make it better." Claire smiled. "I guess we're proving them wrong." Alex nodded. "We always do." The aliens would continue to watch. Some would continue to mock. But inside the ship, in the quiet hum of revived engines and slowly charging weapons, Alex felt pride. The ship was no longer a forgotten relic. It was becoming what it was meant to be, a vessel of strength, waiting for the moment it could show the universe what humans could achieve. And in that quiet, late-night hour, Alex made a promise to the ship, a promise to finish what others could not, to push it further than anyone believed possible, to take it from cast-off junk to a supreme vessel that would surprise everyone. He did not sleep that night. He worked quietly, checking every circuit, every engine, every control panel. Sparks flew. Alarms beeped faintly, but nothing serious. The ship responded, slowly at first, then stronger. It was learning, adapting, listening to the human hands that restored it. The repair work would continue for weeks. Each day, the ship grew stronger. Each day, Alex and his team discovered more secrets hidden in the metal, more potential hidden in systems ignored for decades. They were patient, methodical, careful. And as the hum of the engines grew, Alex could almost feel the heartbeat of the ship. He smiled. Humans had brought life to something abandoned. And one day, it would no longer be just life. It would be power. Unstoppable, unimaginable, and entirely human in its restoration. The morning was quiet when Alex Carter arrived at the dock. The station lights reflected faintly on the hull of the ship. It had changed in subtle ways. Panels were fixed, engines hummed with more life, and small glows of energy ran along the corridors. It was still old, still scarred, but it no longer seemed abandoned. It was awake. Claire Young was already inside the engine room, checking the main power core. Amy Cole sat nearby, studying the control panels. She had flown hundreds of ships before, but she could feel something different about this one. It was not just a machine. It responded. It listened. "We can take it out for a short test today," Alex said, his eyes shining. "Just outside the station. Keep it slow. We need to see how the engines and weapons respond under stress." Amy nodded. "I've been waiting for this. I want to feel it move." They prepared the ship. Systems were powered up carefully, one by one. Lights flickered across the corridors. Shields hummed softly, and engines coughed to life. Alex watched the energy levels, checking every panel. The hum of the ship grew steadily, almost like a heartbeat. "It's stronger than I expected," Claire said, adjusting a control. "The amplifiers we installed are working perfectly. The ship can handle more than we thought." Alex nodded. "I know. That's why we're testing carefully. We can't push it too fast yet." Once the crew was ready, Amy took the captain's chair. Her hands rested lightly on the controls, feeling the responsiveness. She pushed the throttle slowly, and the ship moved forward. The old engines groaned at first, then responded with power and precision. It moved smoothly, faster than any other ship Amy had flown at similar size. "Incredible," Amy said, glancing at the readouts. "I can feel every adjustment. It's like it knows what I want before I do." Alex smiled. "It's learning from us. Humans brought it back. And it trusts our touch." They tested the weapons next. A single laser cannon powered on, charging quickly. Amy aimed at a floating practice target in the distance. She fired. The beam cut cleanly through the target. The ship shuddered slightly but held steady. "This is unbelievable," Amy said, stepping back. "We're not just testing a ship. We're flying something alive." As they continued testing, a warning flashed on the sensor panel. Pirates had entered the station's outer sector, scanning for easy targets. A small fleet of raiders, armed but disorganized, had detected the salvage ring. They did not know about Alex's ship yet. "We have company," Alex said, studying the displays. "They're coming for the station." Amy's eyes narrowed. "We can't let them attack civilians. We need to try the ship in real combat." Claire looked worried. "It's still a test. We could damage the ship." Alex shook his head. "It's ready. Trust me. Humans built it back to life. It's time. It proves itself." They moved quickly. Shields activated, engines powered to maximum, and weapons charged. The ship's systems worked in harmony, faster and more precise than any vessel of its size. As they left the safety of the dock, the raiders noticed. Alien ships drifted closer, weapons aimed. They expected an old, weak, human ship. They were wrong. Amy piloted the ship with confidence. She dodged the first attacks with ease. The engines responded instantly, shifting the massive hull with grace. Alex monitored the power flow, adjusting energy to shields and weapons as needed. Claire managed the targeting systems, guiding the lasers with precision. The raiders fired. Beams struck the shields, which flared with energy, but held firm. The ship responded, counterattacking. Weapons discharged with a controlled power, hitting targets with perfect accuracy. Ships exploded in a flash of fire, their pilots unprepared for the speed and intelligence of Alex's restored vessel. "This ship is a beast," Amy said, smiling as another enemy ship was disabled. "It moves faster than it should. It reacts to my instincts." Alex watched the displays. Energy levels were high, systems running smoothly. "It's more than a ship," he said quietly. "It's a partner. It knows what we want before we act." The battle continued for several minutes. The raiders tried to regroup, but the ship's agility and firepower were unmatched. Shields absorbed attacks, engines dodged quickly, and weapons responded instantly. One by one, the pirate ships were disabled or fled in panic. When the battle ended, the station was safe. No civilian ships were harmed, and the raiders had been driven off. Amy landed the ship back at the dock, engines slowing smoothly, shields lowering carefully. The station crew emerged from hiding, eyes wide in amazement. Whispers spread quickly. Humans had restored a ship that could defeat trained pirate fleets with ease. Catrill and the alien traders stared in disbelief. How? How did a human build something like this? One muttered. Others nodded, shocked and uneasy. They had underestimated human skill. Alex stepped out of the control room, exhausted but proud. Claire and Amy followed. The station crowd approached cautiously. Some cheered, some whispered, but all stared. "We did it," Alex said simply. "We brought it back." Amy smiled. "And it fought better than anyone expected. This is more than a ship. It's unstoppable." Claire looked at the glowing hull, now resting quietly in the bay. "I can't believe what humans can do. We didn't just repair it. We made it alive." Quote. Alex nodded. "This is just the start. We have more work to do, more systems to optimize. But today we proved that humans can take what others discard and make it stronger than anyone imagined." News spread quickly across the station and beyond. Alien factions, who once mocked humans, now whispered with respect and caution. Humans had restored a vessel that no one else could. It was not just a ship. It was proof that humans could see potential where others saw trash. That night, Alex, Amy, and Claire sat in the quiet of the ship. Engines hummed faintly. Systems powered down for maintenance. Lights dimmed along the corridors. Alex touched a panel gently. It's learning. It knows we saved it. And it will follow us wherever we go. Amy nodded. I can't wait to take it further. Test it against other fleets. See how strong it really is. Claire smiled. We need to be careful. It's powerful. Yes, but there are more challenges ahead. Bigger threats. Alex looked at the stars beyond the dock. Let them come. Humans have patience, skill, and courage. And this ship has life again. It's unstoppable when we work together. Over the next days, they tested every system carefully. Shields, engines, weapons, communications, life support. Each repair strengthened the ship further. The crew learned to work with it, not just operate it. They felt the responsiveness, the subtle energy, the way it adjusted to instinct and command. It was alive. Aliens observed from a distance. Some tried to claim the ship, others whispered warnings to their leaders. None dared approach. They had learned one truth: underestimate humans at your own risk. A ship discarded by all, ignored and feared, had become a supreme war machine under human care. And deep inside, Alex knew this was only the beginning. The ship had survived wars, neglect, and doubt. Now, with humans at its helm, it was ready to take its place in the stars. As the night fell, the ship rested quietly. Its engines low but alive, lights glowing softly. Alex, Amy, and Claire walked through the corridors, feeling the heartbeat of metal and energy. They had awakened something old and made it new. They had proven that humans could take what others ignored and turn it into greatness. And in the silent hum of the ship, Alex felt pride and anticipation. The galaxy would soon notice the human ship that no one believed in, and it would never be underestimated again. The stars were bright as the ship floated above the salvage station. Alex Carter stood at the command bridge, looking out at the endless black. Engines were stable, shields strong, weapons ready, and the hidden systems they had discovered were fully operational. It was alive, it was powerful, and it was human. Amy Cole sat at the pilot's chair, hands resting lightly on the controls. She had flown the ship in combat before, testing it against pirate raiders. It had responded perfectly every time, faster than any other vessel, stronger than most fleets. Now, it was ready for its next step, proving itself to the galaxy. Claire Young checked the systems once more. All energy flows are stable. Shields are at maximum capacity. Weapons calibrated. The ship is ready for long-distance operations. She smiled. We've done it, Alex. We really did it. Alex nodded. He ran his hand along the console. We didn't just restore it. We made it better than it ever was. The galaxy will see what humans can do when they don't give up on something others discard. Their first mission beyond the station was simple: a patrol of nearby sectors, showing presence and ensuring safety for Allied traders. The galaxy had started to hear whispers of the human ship, but few had seen it in action. Most aliens still assumed it was just a patched-up relic, barely capable of space travel. They would be surprised. As they jumped into hyperspace, the crew reviewed the ship's capabilities. Energy outputs exceeded design limits. Engines could sustain higher than normal thrust. Shields could absorb concentrated attacks. And weapons could fire faster than expected. The ship had become a war machine. Not by force alone, but by careful human engineering and intuition. I still can't believe we pulled this off, Amy said, leaning back in her chair. Every time we test it, it surprises me. It feels alive. Alex smiled. That's because it is alive. Not in the way aliens think. It's alive because humans brought it back. It listens, adapts, trusts. It knows we care. That's what gives it life. They jumped into a nearby sector and immediately noticed activity. A small alien fleet, unaware of the ship's presence, was moving aggressively, attacking merchant convoys. Pirates and raiders had spread across this region, taking advantage of the station's reputation for weak defenses. Amy's hands flew over the controls. We can't let them attack civilians. Let's see what this ship can really do. Alex and Claire adjusted energy flows, directing power to shields and weapons. The ship hummed in response, subtle vibrations running through the hull, as if it anticipated the coming battle. They approached the raiders carefully, sensors tracking every movement. The first exchange was brief but decisive. The ship moved faster than expected, dodging enemy fire with precision. Weapons fired automatically in coordination with the crew's commands, hitting targets before the raiders could react. One by one, enemy ships were disabled or destroyed. The survivors retreated, spreading fear in the surrounding systems. It's incredible, Amy said, adrenaline pumping. It's like the ship knows what we want before we act. Alex nodded. That's why humans can achieve more than aliens expect. We don't just follow manuals. We think, we adapt, and we have the patience to learn what others ignore. Alex. The battle ended quickly. Traders and station staff, who had been hiding or fleeing, came out to see the wreck turned. Warship in action. Their eyes were wide. Whispers spread. Humans had created a ship stronger than any fleet they had seen. Catrill and other alien traders observed from a distance, shocked and uneasy. They had laughed at Alex before, but now they whispered warnings to their leaders. Do not underestimate humans, one said. They have brought life to what we discarded. The crew spent days testing the ship further. They pushed engines, experimented with weapons combinations, and explored hidden systems discovered in the old logs. Each day, the ship grew stronger, responding to human instincts, anticipating commands, and adjusting systems faster than any alien ship of similar design. The galaxy began to notice. News of the ship reached trade hubs, military outposts, and stations across nearby sectors. Humans were no longer underestimated. The ship became a symbol of ingenuity and persistence. Aliens sent envoys, some curious, others cautious, to understand the ship. None dared challenge it. Alex and his crew traveled from system to system, offering protection for Allied convoys and small stations. Every mission reinforced the ship's reputation. Pirate attacks were minimal after the first few encounters. Trade and travel increased, and humans gained respect for their skill and determination. One evening, as the ship rested quietly in orbit above a small trading station, Alex reflected on the journey. He walked the corridors, touching panels and controls, feeling the life flowing through the metal. The ship was more than machines and circuits. It was history, perseverance, and human creativity. It was proof that even something abandoned could rise to greatness. Amy joined him. "Do you ever get tired of this?" she asked, looking at the glowing consoles. "Flying? Testing? Proving the galaxy wrong?" Alex shook his head. "No. Humans don't stop. And neither should this ship. It's a reminder. If we can do this with a forgotten vessel, think what else humans can achieve." Claire came up behind them, holding a datapad. Reports from nearby stations say humans are now being invited to consult on ship repairs and fleet designs. They want our insight. Your work has inspired others, Alex. He smiled. That's the point. We don't just build a ship. We show that humans can see value where others see nothing. Persistence and care matter. Over the following months, the ship continued to grow in reputation. Alien fleets studied it carefully. Some tried to copy its designs, but without human ingenuity and intuition, they failed. The ship's systems were uniquely tuned to human hands and minds. It could adapt to unexpected challenges, recover from damage, and operate at levels no alien crew could match. One day, a large alien fleet entered a disputed sector, threatening to seize control. Human fleets were outnumbered and unprepared. Alex's ship, small in number but powerful and precise, was deployed. The engagement lasted hours. The ship maneuvered with agility, dodging heavy fire, striking critical points in enemy vessels, and coordinating attacks with human crews nearby. Shields held, engines responded instantly, weapons fired with deadly accuracy. By the end, the alien fleet retreated, shocked at the effectiveness of a single, human-restored ship leading a small human force. After the battle, the station and fleet commanders offered formal recognition. The ship was celebrated as a symbol of human skill, perseverance, and courage. Humans were no longer mocked for taking on abandoned or discarded projects. The galaxy had learned to respect them. Alex, Amy, and Claire stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. The ship hummed quietly around them. Alex placed a hand on the console. This is what happens when you never give up. Humans take what others ignore and make it stronger. This ship is proof. Amy nodded. And it's just the beginning. Imagine what we can do next. Claire smiled. Humans are dangerous when they care, when they see potential. This ship shows it clearly. The galaxy now understood one simple truth. Underestimate humans at your own risk. A ship discarded, ignored, and abandoned had become a supreme war machine under human care. Its power was not just in metal or weapons, but in the minds and hands that restored it. Ingenuity, patience, and courage had turned a forgotten relic into a legend. The ship rested that night in quiet orbit, engines humming softly, shields glowing faintly. Weapon systems charged but idle. It had fought, survived, and proven itself. Yet it was ready. Always ready. Ready for the next challenge, the next test, the next threat. Ready to show that humans, even when small in number, could achieve greatness no alien fleet could imagine. Alex stood at the command bridge one last time, looking at the stars stretching endlessly. He felt pride and hope. The ship had survived neglect, enemies, and doubt. Now it would survive the galaxy. Not because of luck, not because of alien design, but because humans believed in it. Because humans never gave up. And in the quiet hum of the ship, Alex whispered, "We did it. We made it live again. And no one will ever forget it." The ship glowed softly under the starlight, a symbol of human skill, determination, and courage. The galaxy had seen it rise from the ashes, and humans had claimed their place among the stars. The adventure was only beginning. But for now, a ship once discarded, restored by human hands, rested in orbit, alive, powerful, and respected. The universe had learned a new lesson. Never underestimate a human, especially when they take what others ignore and make it unstoppable.